Butch and Bob Show.
World famous Butch and Bob Show right here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio. And you say Raymond Brown got a hole in one?
Yes, he did. First ever hole in one. We all celebrated. So yeah, they have a tradition at the Pine Forest Country Club. You have a hole in one, everybody gets to drink on you. See, some people think it ought to be the other way around.
It should be the other way around.
But it can get quite expensive.
I don't know if I'd want to get a hold of one if that was the case.
I told people when I get a hold of one, I'll be calling people. It's going to be a party. So
it's going to be a party.
I said that's what credit cards are for. So I'll be calling. If you're not there, I'll call you and say, please come get a drink on me.
Yeah, so that would be that big of a deal for you,
that's
huh, Bob?
right. Yeah, it'll be exciting.
How close have you gotten on the par threes before?
Pretty close on the park. I came with, one time I thought I was going in, but it was right behind the holes. But that's the closest I got. But haven't gotten close very often. But I saw George Stafford a week ago, Wednesday. I played with him. That was fun to watch. I don't know who's more excited, George or me. I mean, it was fun. I've never seen a hole in one before, so I was just excited.
Oh, boy.
But there's been quite a few hole in ones out there. So, again, just Raymond was kind of tickled. So happy for him.
I'm sure he was.
It was a fun day.
As much golf as he plays, I mean, the average is bound for him to get it in there sooner or later.
It's hard to get a hole in one.
It is hard. Very difficult. I mean, you're talking about the Stafford guy this past Wednesday. It was 58 years ago that he hit his last hole in one. The guy plays a lot of golf.
I think it's 53 years and 8 months. Yeah,
it was the old. You know where the old golf course was, don't you?
I never know because that was gone before I got here.
Right
they told
past
me it was
Dairy
up.
Ranch.
You're right.
Right past the Dairy Ranch on the right hand side.
I talked to people.
There was a part. There was it was 9 holes. 9 holes. It was right past the Dairy Ranch. You can see some if you go past there, you'll see some clear. You'll see some woods there, and that's where it was. I played there some in high school.
People that played it said it was a really nice course. They enjoyed it. So,
but it closed up when Pine Forest opened up. That's when it closed up because it wasn't the need for it anymore. But it was a public golf course, and you could go out there and play. And it was 9 holes, and it was pretty decent. But when Pine Forest opened up, I had a lot of high school buddies that worked out there at Pine Forest, pulling roots up and getting just worked for those couple of years there, getting the first 9 the first 9 of Pine Forest opened up. They earned extra money out there pulling up roots and doing all the work out there, all the grunt work, getting that course ready back in the early 70s.
Yeah, when I arrived, they just had the front 9 of the Pine Forest, and they did the back 9 after that.
Yeah, they did that a little later on in the 90s. They did the back 9. But yeah, that was a pretty decent golf course there. I played a little bit in my junior, senior years in high school out there. But after that, Pine Forest opened up and that just closed up. It closed it up. Guess they figured they didn't need any need for it anymore. I don't even know who owned it. I couldn't even tell you. I mean, I just remember playing there. Right. But I don't know who owned it, who you paid. I don't remember any of that part of it. I just know where it was. Let's put it that way. And that it was it was pretty good for a duffer like me getting out there hitting the golf ball for the first time. A lot of the holes were hidden and went back a little bit, so it didn't matter how messed up. But you were close to the what we call back then Highway 301 North. Now it's Savannah Highway. You had to be careful on a couple close to there. But that's great, and it's great to hear and see that University of Georgia is back in the dance, man. Yeah. Back in the big show.
I was shocked that they got a 9th seed too. That's pretty well respected.
Yeah, so they get to play an 8 seed.
Yeah, playing Gonzaga.
Gonzaga's
been in the Sweet 16
all the time.
The last 3 years. Yeah, so that'll be a tough matchup. So,
that will be a tough matchup.
Georgia feels pretty good about it. Like I said, they've had a lot of time to regroup after losing to Oklahoma in the first round. But 14 teams in the SEC, that's a new record.
14. And we got 16 teams, right?
Yeah.
It's only 2 to get in. Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing. They even let Arkansas in, so
that'll
be fun. Arkansas, I'm not sure who they play first round, but St. John's, they're in that same bracket. If they both win, Arkansas would play St. John's, and you'd have Rick Pitino against John Calipari. So that would be the 2 former Kentucky coaches will be matched up in a second-round matchup. So people are hoping that. They were saying on the NCAA selection committee, you can only hope to see that matchup. They said that'll be a wild matchup to see
Yeah.
See Cal Perry against Rick Pitino, coach. That'd be fun. So, but everybody's upset that North Carolina got in. They don't think they should have got in, but they got in. So, I don't care. I didn't follow that.
As long as Georgia gets in, I don't care.
I didn't follow it this closely. So, like I said, but Florida looks awfully good. They got a number 1 seed. Two of the 4 seeds are SEC teams, Auburn and Florida. Houston and Duke got the other ones. Hopefully Duke gets their star player back. You know, he got hurt in the ACC tournament, but they say he's going to be ready to go. So he's a very talented player. So, but it should be fun to watch. Starts Thursday. It's always fun. Fill out the brackets, see how it goes. So.
Bracket time, Bob.
Yeah, bracketology, yeah.
You doing your studying? You get yours ready for your bracket?
Yeah, I'll work on it Tuesday night and get it all filled out.
Okay. Well, it is St. Patrick's Day. You got the big parade in Savannah starting this morning and going for several hours there. And we wish everyone a safe time there if they're heading that way or already there. Hope you have a great day. Yep. Just be safe. Be fun, have fun. It's going to be cool out there. It's going to be breezy.
Good weather for it, that's for sure.
That's right. You can put your jacket on there and a cap, and you'll be fine.
It's a windy weekend down at Sawgrass. It's going to be windy this morning for that 3-hole playoff between J.J. Pugh.
Which 3 holes they're playing?
16, 17, 18. Those 3.
Right there at the end.
Yeah, 3. All right. Got to play the Island Green.
Got to play the Island.
I think they said 238 balls went in the water this weekend.
Did they ever go down there and try to get them?
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they go get them. I'm sure somebody, retrieves those balls.
Use it for range balls.
Yeah, it's a lot of balls.
That's a lot. Oh boy! But so they tied up, and I guess it got dark, so they have to do the 2 for the 3 today.
The 3-hole playoffs set for this morning.
Did they ever play much on Sunday at all?
They played the whole round Sunday. Yeah,
they did.
Got it in. They had about a 2-hour rain delay, but they got it all in thanks to daylight savings time. They were able to get it in. So
okay, well, good.
It was fun to watch. Enjoyed it. But Roy McIlroy and J.J. Pugh, never heard of him, but he's won 1 tournament in his career, so hopefully we'll see how that plays out, but it should be exciting golf this morning.
And what is it with Friday Wayne County High School baseball that goes into extra innings?
I don't know.
You can bank on it. Friday game, you're going to have extra innings. And not only was it extra innings, what was the score of that final game?
13-12.
13. And you know how long it takes to play a game to score 13, one team, 13, and then 12?
It was a 3-hour marathon.
25, 25 runs.
I should know. The first game went quick.
First game just flying right through.
So I'm thinking, I'm definitely getting to the country club, eat dinner at 8 o'clock. No, that didn't happen.
No, that second game was a marathon. So we had a double header on that Friday. The first one went through. I'm sitting here running the board. Everything's fine. And then that second game is, it's we're ahead, they're ahead, there's tied. Just here run, there run, everywhere. Until 25 runs is finally scored at the end of the game, and luckily we had the extra one.
At least it only went 8 innings. That was good.
Yeah. All right. We got Stephen Meeks calling in. State Representative Stephen Meeks will be on the air in just a moment. Stay tuned.
When further treatment is no longer an option, hospice can provide services to manage symptoms and difficulties caused by illness. Emotional, psychosocial, and spiritual care, as well as support to the families and caregivers, are all part of hospice care. Hospice of South Georgia has been a part of the health community in Wayne and surrounding counties since 1998. The professional yet compassionate attention provided by our staff is unsurpassed. Widely supported by donations from the local population, Hospice of South Georgia is the local nonprofit hospice in Wayne County. Our administrative office is located at 1625 Sunset Boulevard, and Hospice of South Georgia accepts anyone who meets hospice criteria, regardless of their ability to pay. Please call 912-588-0080 to speak with someone about hospice care. That was 912-588-0080. We are your hometown hospice, and we are here to serve you. Hospice of South Georgia, working to add life to your days.
And again, it's Mondays with Meeks. We got State Representative Stephen Meeks on the phone. Stephen, first of all, happy St. Patrick's Day. Glad you're with us here on the holiday.
Happy St. Patrick's Day to y'all too. I hope y'all have a chance to enjoy some festivities at least sometime today.
Yeah. Y'all get off today with the legislature? Y'all close today?
We are in recess today. Yes, sir. We go back in tomorrow morning for day 32.
Do y'all have
But yes, sir, we are.
Do y'all have a lot of members either in the either on the House or the Senate side that go to parades throughout the state?
Well, we've got that little parade over over on the coast on the river, and
yeah.
I think I heard on Fox News this morning it's number 3 in the country. Is
Yep.
that right? Did
Number
I hear
3.
that correctly?
Yep.
So a good many of the members, particularly from the coast, will be over in that region today at the parade, and they always take part in it. And they'll make their way to Atlanta. We'll convene tomorrow for day 32. So I look forward to hearing about it. It's been years since I've been to the parade over in Savannah, not as a participant, but as a former Senator Chambliss would go quite often, and we would be there to staff him. So we would go with him and be there, but I haven't been over there in years, so I can only imagine how it has progressed in a day.
I'm sure it's packed, but again, getting back to the session, you're down to single-digit days. Still, the tort reform's being debated. Bill Werkheiser was here playing golf with us Saturday. He got hit up with a few people asking him where he stood on that issue. So, again, listen to some of these insurance companies talk about these lawsuits and some of the craziness. There's some crazy stories out there. They were telling about how companies get sued and they have nothing to do with it. Like I heard a story where there was a shooting in front of a pharmacy that was already closed, and the pharmacy got sued because they didn't have any lighting in front of the building or something, and had paid like millions of dollars. So, I can see why they're trying to, at least get some kind of legislation on the book to try to stop this foolishness. There's some of the stories I heard were just, you go, no, that can't be true, and they go, yep, it's true. It's crazy.
You would. That's kind of been our reaction as well, as hey, how can this be the case when you hear stories? And the subcommittee that is hearing that piece of legislation within rules, I think they've heard 15 to 18 hours of testimony from across the spectrum of participants and those impacted. And we do expect some action on that this week as we return after St. Patrick's Day today. I know that they were working on some potential amendments to the legislation to make sure that we're addressing some vagueness that may be in the language. But we'll continue to follow that and see what comes out of the committee and what ends up making it to the House floor. But you're exactly right. Some of the stories that we have heard, you do scratch your head and say, okay, how can this be the case when, the premises, the business may have been closed, and yet still being sued. So you're exactly right. It's kind of out there on how some of these stories have come to light during the testimony that's been given.
A lot of the legislature, Senate and the rep, whether it's state or whether it's the up in Washington D.C., you have a lot of lawyers that are elected to either the rep side or the Senate side. Is that the same way with the legislature here in the state of Georgia?
Absolutely. We I don't know exactly how many we have. We have more in the Senate than we do in the House. But we have a fair number of lawyers on both Republican and Democrat sides. So you've got the professionals coming at it from different perspectives, as that's their, what they do for a living. But yes, we do have a fair amount in the House and the Senate, and we've got two former judges in the House, that have experience in the area and have seen lots of cases over the years, and how that impacts, both the victims and the businesses. And the insurance companies. So we, but yes, we do, much like Congress, we do have our fair share of attorneys in the House and the Senate.
Last week, we had Elizabeth Burns on the radio. She called in. You're sponsoring some legislation trying to protect the farmer. So I don't know if you got to hear that show at all, but your thoughts on that, and where's that legislation at this point?
I did tune in last week and didn't hear that. And what it's related to is we're seeing across the country, really it boils down to whether or not there's a warning on the label of herbicides or pesticides that are approved by the EPA. And the crux of it came out of California when California passed Proposition 65, which mandated that the manufacturer include on their label may cause cancer. The case ended up going to the Ninth Circuit, and this Ninth Circuit threw it out and agreed with the Environmental Protection Agency, which is the sole authority of the label for all products and that are used in agriculture and in urban agriculture around homes, etc. And what it came down to is, okay, the EPA had evaluated the one study out of France that was cited in the case, and as a result, the Ninth Circuit threw it out, agreed with the EPA, and said you cannot include a warning on the label, even if the manufacturer wanted to, simply because the science was not there to back it up. In this particular case, it was glyphosate, Roundup. We've already seen other articles since then that have named other plant protection products that we have and that are used in agriculture to produce the safest, most affordable, most abundant food supply of anywhere in the world. And it's because of this science and technology that we were able to do that. So we did have Senate Bill 144, sponsored by Senator Sam Watson in the House, and I carried it, or excuse me, in the Senate, I carried it through the House, and we did get that passed on Thursday morning of last week.
Again, just joining us on the phone with us is State Representative Stephen Meeks. Again, it's Mondays with Meeks. Again, the state's $37.7 billion budget that has to be approved. What day do you think the budget gets approved and the stamp of approval, you know? I mean, is that the final day of the session, or is there a big debate on the? And I know most of the money's going to education and also that federal correction system, and that was talked about in the eggs and issues about how, you know, the prison system really needs to be improved. They got a lot of problems in the Federal Correction Institute. I think they talked about, you know, just because your loved one or your son or whatever gets sentenced to prison, it shouldn't be a death sentence, you know, and there's a lot of stuff going on in prisons where it's very dangerous. So your thoughts on the budget, you know, when will the budget be approved? Is it the final day of the session? How's that work?
Well, sometimes it is the final day of the session. We hope to get it done before then. I believe the Senate will take it up this week. The big budget, a lot of the corrections funding was included in a supplemental that we've already passed and the governor signed last week as well, or crossover days actually when he signed it. But we'll continue to work. We passed it out last Tuesday from the House. I know that Senator Tillery and others in the Senate have been working on the Senate version. So, you know, we should be able to get it done, I would say probably next week, but it depends on just kind of where we are, where the numbers end up, and making sure that we do, number one, pass a balanced budget. The big budget does include a 0.2% reduction in the state income tax, which eats up a good chunk of money from the budget. So we're still looking for ways to do what we need to do and be financial stewards of taxpayer money within the state of Georgia and passing that balanced budget. So hopefully next week, but we'll see how the Senate progresses with theirs this week.
And you talked about the supplemental budget. We talked about that last week. The good news for Wayne County that we're emphasizing, in case anybody did not hear it, there's $5 million for Wayne County Wayne County projects here in Wayne County. The industrial
right,
park.
exactly.
And Butch was asking, I didn't know the question. You mentioned that JC Landing project got $1 million. Do you know what they're using that money for? I mean,
that's for I call it the educational facility that the Leisure Authority had been working on with former Congressman Lindsey Thomas and others have been working on the educational center there on JC Landing. I know they had raised some money, got some commitments, I believe, from the county and some other funding as well. And we put $1 million in the budget to help with that project. They had previously applied for the GOSA grant through DNR the past 2 years. But had not been awarded that yet. So it's this competitive grant. But so we put $1 million in the budget for that, and then the water sewer project that we had been working on, I guess, since COVID days, when the city had received some funding for that. and we were able to cost escalations and others that delayed the projects. We were able to put some money in the budget, $4 million, as you mentioned, to help finish up that for the industrial park.
Yeah, I saw Dale Key Saturday. He was pretty happy about that. So again, that's a nice little caveat for Wayne County to get $4 million to help complete that project. They think that money, with that $4 million, they'll have the money on hand to be able to complete that project. So that's good news.
And that's a great win for our community and for what we call home, and because it's going to create jobs, and that's what's important in growing the tax base and providing opportunities for those to continue to get an education, wherever area that may be, and move back to Wayne County, continue to work, live, and support their families here in Wayne County.
One final question. You said last time we talked to you, nothing's dead till it's dead. So I've got to ask you about sports betting legalizing. Is there any chance at all it sees the light of day, or is it dead?
Well, as soon as I said it was dead, it would come alive, and if I said it was alive, it would die.
Okay, so stay tuned is what you're telling me.
We have learned the hard way on some of it. You just don't know until the gavel falls on day 40 what might happen. But
so y'all have the same saying as Yogi, huh? It ain't over till it's over, huh?
It ain't over till it's over. You're exactly right.
Until the gavel hits at midnight on April 4th.
All you've got to do is find something in that code section and that has already been passed, and if the other chamber hadn't passed it yet, it can be attached. So there are different ways that things happen, and sometimes we all wonder how they happen. But it's certainly one of those situations that I could say today that it's dead, and tomorrow it'd be alive, or vice versa. So you never know.
Totally understand.
You'll just a couple other things. Congratulations to Raymond on his hole-in-one at the country club. I'll have to call him personally and congratulate him on that. And the baseball team's win. What a great win for Wayne County and the baseball program.
They're doing well. Got the BC cadets this week, so not going to Savannah today, but I'm going tomorrow down there.
Awesome, a good deal. And you'll also be excited to know Nolan Smith was at the Capitol this week. I'd walked over to the chamber, to the Senate chamber. I forget what day it was, Wednesday or Thursday, and he was over in the Senate chamber and came over to the House a little while later. So I had a chance to visit with Bulldog great and Philadelphia Eagles linebacker Nolan Smith. So it was great to see him in the People's House earlier this week.
Yeah, celebrating a Super Bowl win. Again, that was a big
Amen.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
Well, Stephen, we thoroughly enjoy you being here on Mondays with Meeks. Again, it's a very informative program. We appreciate it. Appreciate you taking your time and calling in. Look forward to hearing from Blake tomorrow and Buddy on Wednesday as the session winds down. The Chamber of Commerce already has their post-legislative luncheon scheduled, and we'll see you there as well. So, again, appreciate the time, and thanks again, and enjoy St. Patrick's Day.
Always enjoy it. Thanks so much for allowing me to do it and represent my home. Thanks so much, and we'll see y'all soon.
All right. Take care, Stephen.
Bye.
All right. State Representative Stephen Meeks here on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup.
And it was funny, Butch. We saw, like I said, Bill Workheiser played golf on Wednesday, and he's kind of getting a tickle out of Buddy DeLoach calling it Wednesdays without Workheiser as well. He said, "Yeah, I've been listening to that Wednesdays without Workheiser show."
Starring Buddy DeLoach.
I said, "Well, we kind of miss you, but Bill." Got to play golf with Bill. Bill's a pretty good golfer.
Yeah, pretty good golfer.
Yeah, man, he played well Saturday, so it was fun. But they were all the people out there. They know he's in that legislature. So if they had an issue, he was getting bombarded. Like, here, I need to ask you this.
Hey, I don't represent y'all now.
It's like it didn't matter. It's like, hey, come here. I need to ask you this, and hey, what can you do about this? So they had him cornered up there at the Pine Forest Country Club. I don't know if he'll come back.
Well, the session will be over soon. So.
Yeah, but it's good to have him. Like I said, he's been part of that group for a while, so I think he enjoys it. But he's a good golfer.
Yeah, he's still part of us Wayne Countyans.
Right,
yeah.
But that was fun. He said, "Hey, I'm enjoying that Wednesdays without Workheiser show." Well, I appreciate you tuning in. I said, Buddy DeLoach is the one. I said, don't flame me now. That's Buddy.
Buddy's the one that came up with that.
That's right. Buddy came up with that. We come up with Wednesdays with Workheiser. We didn't come up with Wednesdays without Workheiser.
That was all Buddy.
That was Buddy.
That's right. Anything else on your mind this morning, Bob?
No, just wish everybody happy St. Patrick's Day. Have a great day.
Yep. Take care. All right. The world famous Butch here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup has been brought to you by First Southern Bank, by the Service Department at G&S Auto Sales, also by Murphy Builder Supply and Heron Aldridge Insurance.